So, as Kevin mentioned, I wrote this book called The Digital Diet. You've heard that I work at Google, and I'll get a little bit into that as well. How many people here, by the way, have heard of Google before, or have used Google on occasion? Just a show of hands. Okay, a few of you, so that's great. For others, I will mention a couple of things that are going on at Google. As you'd imagine, it's a big company. I've been there for about 4.5 years in New York. There are now close to about 60,000 of us there full time. An incredible group of people who are smart and ambitious and want to change the world. And there's so much going on. I will touch on a couple of things. I'm sure some of you will leave here thinking, gosh, I really wanted to know about Google X and self-driving cars, or Project Loon, or what's happening with Android. It's Marshmallow. Well, what's happening with N? What's going to be the next? I'm sure there are tons of questions. I will address some of them. The rest you can always search for and find for yourself. I only have limited time, people. So a little bit about me, just by way of background. I heard a few people laughing. It's quite all right to go ahead and laugh. This is me. This is what a really freaked out, scared person looks like when they go on live television for the first time. And you can see up at the top there the letters CNN. So this was 2001, if you can believe it. Folks called me Mark McGrath, and if you can remember those days. Anyway, I was the editor of the technology section for CNN.com, and there was a story about the code red worm, if anybody can remember back that far. And it was going around the internet, and they said, well, we need this guy to come on and talk about it for us. Nobody else here understands exactly what's going on. I'm not sure I fully understood it either, frankly, but I thought, I can do this. So I had to borrow a tie, borrow a shirt. I think I was wearing my glasses because I was kind of hungover and didn't want to wear my contact lenses. So, but the whole look, I think it worked for the executives at CNN. They're like, this is what the tech guy is supposed to look like. Totally by accident, just so you know, right? This is not some sort of like manufactured look that I cooked up or something. Anyway, so that was the start of my broadcast career. So I work on a team at Google, just to give you some context about what I do. And it can be hard for people internally at Google to tell each other what they do, let alone to tell an external audience sometimes, so bear with me. But I work on a team called the Google News Lab, and you can find our site at g.co/newslab. And as Kevin was mentioning, we think a lot about the future of news and technology and innovation and storytelling, and how can Google play a role in that? We're a very cross-product team, so whether it's Google Maps, data visualization with something called Fusion Tables, helping newsrooms think about their YouTube channel. We look at all kinds of different data through Google Trends, which I'll get into in just a second. But it's really about empowering newsrooms, publishers, broadcasters with whatever they need, mainly from the editorial side, to tell stories for increasingly digital, increasingly mobile audiences, as we know. And we do that in a number of different ways. We do trainings in newsrooms. Our Google Trends team, which I'll get to in a second, publishes a lot of data. In fact, how many people watched the debate last night? Just a show of hands. How many times did somebody hear Marco Rubio say, people, you can just go search for it right now. Google Donald Trump or whatever, And the fact is that we know a lot of people have a second screen experience while they're watching the debate or the Super Bowl or anything else. And so we look at a lot of that data in an anonymized, aggregated way. And we can see some really neat insights that come out, and I'll get into that more in a second. And then we have a big interest in media entrepreneurship. So we have a partnership with Matter VC, which is based on the West Coast. They are an incubator for a lot of small startups thinking about new ways to tell stories and connect with readers and viewers. So a whole bunch of things that we're up to. I won't spend too much time on this, but if you're interested, that's our site. This is a few people from our team. This was actually at the Fox News Google debate in Des Moines, and we are part. Last night was actually one of the first debates that I have not been to. I've been at just about all of them up until last night, and part of what our team does is we look for those moments when we see search spiking, and some of the notable ones. So, for example, a few debates ago, Marco Rubio said something to the effect of, we need more welders than philosophers, and welders make more money anyway. I'm paraphrasing, but something like that. And what we saw was not only people searching sort of for that comment or what did he say and posting about it on social, but we saw a huge spike in searches for welding classes. So people who thought, oh, well, maybe I want to become a welder. And so the reality is this is the kind of thing you may not post about on social, right? You may not want to feel comfortable saying, I'd really like to become a welder. Anybody know where I can find a local welding class? You might, but you might also think, I kind of want to do this on my own. So, of course, this is, again, all anonymized, aggregated data, but when we can kind of see these insights come out of it, we share that, and we think it's kind of it tells a lot about who we are and what we're interested in. We also make a lot of these graphics available. If you're interested, you can follow the Google Trends handle. It's just at Google Trends. And you can see we make these data visualizations. The one on the right will animate. It's like a horse race tool. And this is the first election cycle where we've made real-time data available during the debates and during other events that are happening as part of the election cycle. So you can see minute by minute, are more people searching for Donald Trump or Marco Rubio or Ben Carson or whoever, what in response to whatever they say. And you can, draw your own conclusions from that. We have seen, we look at search interest around the candidates, around the issues, we look at the questions people ask, and we look at, after, as we're getting close to, in this case, we're coming up to, we look when there's a primary coming up, and we'll say, here is the search, interest around the candidates leading into the primary. Maybe, and certainly into Super Tuesday, we're going to look at all kinds of data. And does that correlate with people's voting interest, right? We get that question a lot. Does just because people search for somebody, does that mean that they're going to vote for them? And it's not up to us. We're not in the business of predicting who's going to win the election. We do make it publicly available, and we have seen that at times there is a correlation. And we leave it up to the experts and the pundits to kind of parse the data better than we can, but it's interesting.